pledge, followed by a moment of silence, and we'll get rolling. Gary, you want to try to lead us this morning, please?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you. We can have roll call, please.
Mr. Bartlett?
Here.
Mr. Fowler?
Present.
Ms. Owens?
Here.
Ms. Pierce? Here. Mr. Seaman?
Present. Next item on our agenda is regular items. So I'll need a motion and a second when we deal with approving the agenda and the minutes from the March 23, 2021 meeting. I would recommend that we include addendum items number 6, which is a revision, and number 15 to the new business agenda as the last items there, 15. And then the executive session, item 11, that would be a separate vote following new business. So moved by Ms. Pierce. Second by Mr. Fowler. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bartlett?
Abstain. I wasn't at the last meeting.
Mr. Fowler?
Yes.
Ms. Owens?
Yes.
Ms. Pierce?
Yes.
Mr. Seaman?
Yes. Next is public participation, and we always welcome them, but no one here today, so we'll keep right on moving. Number 5 is the financial report. Need a motion and a second. We can follow by discussion and comments from Laura.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Fowler.
Second.
Take care of it.
Is second by Mr. Bartlett. Laura, anything special there that did notice?
The ESSER funds have been reappropriated, so we finally got paid for the OSER federal match and the ESSER ESC family liaison. So we got paid just Monday for them. So yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, yesterday. So those will be back in the black, thank God. That took about a month longer than they said it would. So I was getting nervous, but that money is coming.
It required legislative action to enable ODE to go beyond what the threshold is set in law that they can distribute. So that was got corrected.
We have sent out the first half billing for all the related services, which are a lot of these negatives on the fund balance cash summary report. And then we're getting ready to send out the third quarter classroom and related service billing. So in the month of May, we'll be getting a lot of revenue in to cover these balances. And then the final billing is done mid-June for a final reconciliation. So we've had all of our discussions with the superintendents and treasurers, and we're moving on. And then we'll be putting some new billing practices in place for next year that they so far all seem to like the idea of. So we'll see how they like it when it's in practice.
We do have, so if we've been finishing these annual meetings, what we are seeing is that more and more they're interested in taking back some of their employees or doing that themselves, because they're growing to the point at which, like Fairfield Union just notified us last night, there's triggers in terms of ADM that require you to add a full FTE of speech and language, for example. Well, they've hit that trigger, and so it's actually makes more sense for them to just hire somebody than to go through us, which is fine. But I think we're going to see that. It seems to be a little bit of a trend right now. And it's not about cost savings, it's about control. So so be it.
Any other comments?
No, you will see on the budget adjustments, we've actually, we have some prevention funding that's flowing through ESC of Central Ohio that's reimbursing us. So there's on, for example, PAC CPI training to be reimbursed through grant for $3,500. I've already invoiced ESC of Central Ohio to reimburse for that. And then SERS, I don't remember, I'd already mentioned this, but SERS issued an additional surcharge. So SERS has this nice little thing where the people in SERS get paid so low that you have to pay a surcharge if they get paid less than a certain amount. We paid that back in June of 2020. And then after the pandemic was over, they decided they didn't collect enough money. So they issued an additional surcharge. So that has been a lot of extra charges to the accounts. And I think that's it. That's all.
Any questions for Laura?
When she was saying things that were adjusted, Laura, have the districts figured out the occupational and speech therapy billing yet?
Yes, and we've agreed to let it stand, and then as we have been billing it, and then we're working on a few things to adjust the billing for next year. But yeah, they've started paying. We've issued the invoices to catch up, and we're all settled on that.
Okay, thank you. I was afraid I missed a few words in there, so thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Laura? Gary, Ron, Mary? Okay.
No.
Not hearing any, we'll do roll call, please.
Mr. Bartlett,
Yes.
Mr. Fowler,
Yes.
Ms. Owens,
Yes.
Ms. Pierce,
Yes.
Mr. Tier.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is new business. Need a motion and a second, and then we can have comments, discussion.
So moved.
Moved by
moved.
Mr. Pierce,
Second.
second by Mr. Bartlett. All right, Marie, anything special here you'd like to point out?
Well, just standard business. We're at the point where we're adopting calendars for next year. We're a little bit delayed in this only because with COVID, districts trying to figure out what they were going to do, and we sort of take the next step after they've set their calendars to set ours. For example, the Success Center aligns with Lancaster City Schools. The new Lyctopolis Early Learning Center will align with Bloom Carroll School. So we work in collaboration with them on those. So all those calendars are there and ready for you to approve. I do want to note that Amanda Clear Creek has decided they're going to do their own preschool for this year. So Amanda Clear Creek is not going to be a part of Learning Steps preschool, but it looks like we need to add another unit for Bloom Carroll because it continues to grow. It's all fine. It's all going to work out fine. We do have as another next item regarding the resident educators. I mentioned this in our memo. We had 15 teachers go through the program this year. All 15 passed. So we had 100% passage rate again this year. This indicates the stipends that are aligned with the support that they provide for teachers in completing that requirement. Or the OT that we have listed there, Christina Cassidy, she's helping to cover a maternity leave. That will just be for the remainder of this year. And then on the additional items, we had a little bit of movement with school psychologists this year. Our young lady who was at Amanda Clear Creek is going to be reassigned to between Pickerington and Walnut Township. Our school psychologist that was at Liberty Union wants to come back to preschool. Her name is Kate Volpe. And that left the vacancy with Liberty Union. We were fortunate in having actually utilized someone through a service contract with Champaign Madison ESC, who lives in the area, really loved working with the district and applied for the vacancy. We interviewed her and one other applicant and extended that offer, and she has accepted. So you see that on the agenda there in the additional items. So we are at a point where we were a little behind again with this because of COVID, but just looking at the finalization of the plan for the consortium classrooms units for next year, with one of the biggest variables that we need to delve into is related services. We've made some shifts and some efficiencies, so Sherry McClurg and I will be sitting down and really getting into the weeds later this week, early next week. It's going to take a little bit to come up with a plan for assignments for next year, but all good in that scenario. I do not think we're going to have any teacher vacancies this year that we need to fill, and I do not think we'll have any paraprofessional vacancies that we're going to need to fill. So that's all good.
Good. Any questions for Marie?
Nope.
Okay, not hearing any. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bartlett,
Yes.
Mr. Fowler,
Yes.
Ms. Owens,
yes,
Ms. Pierce? Yes. Mr. Seaman?
Yes. I'd make one comment. Getting a school site now, I'm sure the pool is very small,
It always is.
and so you're lucky getting one.
Yeah, we posted it actually around Christmas time, anticipation, just given some of the conversation that was occurring, to try and get some applicants in. And even with the pool that we did have, by the time we could get the second interview scheduled to do the decision, two of them had already made decisions elsewhere. So it ended up being a good fit, and hopefully she'll be with us for a while.
Okay. Next item on our agenda is to go into an executive session dealing with employment and or compensation benefits of an employee or employees. I need a motion followed by a second.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Fowler, second by Mr. Bartlett.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gary. Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Bartlett,
Yes.
Mr. Fowler,
Yes.
Ms. Owens,
yes.
Ms. Pierce? Yes. Mr. Seaman?
Yes.
What time did you note? 8:43.
Okay. Do we need to say anything to James?
He's listening in.
He's
He
listening in.
cannot be listening.
I know, he's listening now, he'll switch it
Okay.
over.
He needs to put us into a
Yeah.
breakout room.
Okay. So allow us to join the breakout room. Okay, I think we're now in the breakout room. James, are we good?
He's not there.
You're not there.
He shouldn't be there.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Is Charlotte and Gary here? Oh, I think she probably, do we need to press the button?
Yeah.
Did we lose?
Yeah.